vote. And now they're complaining that Canadians might choose me if there were an election. This week, Prime Minister has lost control of everything. He's lost control of the borders, lost control of immigration, lost control of spending, and now has lost control of his cabinet and party. The Liberal Premier of Newfoundland is against his job-killing energy cap, and 20 of his MPs want to fire him. How is it that he clings to power when he's lost control?
Trudeau's face turns red with rage as he realizes Pierre's unstoppable momentum. The once-invincible Prime Minister now watches helplessly as his own party crumbles around him. In this video, we'll show you the shocking moment Trudeau lost control and how Pierre is set to sweep the next election. You won't believe the behind-the-scenes drama unfolding in Ottawa right now. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Remember when Justin Trudeau seemed untouchable? The charismatic Liberal leader who swept into power with a wave of popularity and promises of sunny ways. Well, those days are long gone. Trudeau's once rock-solid support base is crumbling faster than a sandcastle at high tide.
His foreign minister is now announcing her leadership campaign in the New York Times. The Liberal leader of the province of Ontario has announced she's against his quadrupling carbon tax.
We all see that the leader of the opposition has trouble with the ideas that individuals might have different perspectives, and that might be a good thing for a robust political party like the Liberal Party of Canada and all its partners across the country.
In Ontario, who's against his quadrupling carbon tax, a Liberal Premier in Newfoundland who opposes his job-killing energy cap. Why won't the Prime Minister get the point? His party doesn't want him anymore.
Let's rewind to 2015. Trudeau was the golden boy of Canadian politics, with adoring fans and a seemingly unshakable coalition of supporters. But fast forward to today, and the cracks in his facade are turning into gaping chasms. The discontent within Liberal ranks is reaching a fever pitch, and it's not just backbenchers grumbling anymore.
Mr. Speaker, about standing up for Canada. One of the things we've seen throughout our history, when Canada is threatened, when it's challenged with a crisis, when people want ill of Canadians pull together.
That will drive factories south of the border, or his energy cap that will drive away our resource companies. I understand why President Trump wants to take Canadian jobs, but why is this Prime Minister trying to help him do it?
Unfortunately, this basic Canadian attribute seems unavailable to that leader of the opposition who can't help himself on playing politics with Canadians' well-being.
Insiders are spilling the beans, and it's not pretty. Reports suggest that a staggering 20 of Trudeau's own MPs are eyeing the exit, seriously considering a leadership change. That's not just a few malcontents, that's a full-blown mutiny brewing in the Liberal camp. And it gets worse. Trudeau's foreign minister has thrown her hat in the ring, launching her own leadership campaign. Talk about a vote of no confidence.
This from a Prime Minister who is helping Donald Trump take away our jobs. You can just imagine the President in the Oval Office calling our businesses to say, hey, I saw that you have a quadrupling carbon tax.
Canadians increasingly see through his shallow partisan games. If he actually cared about helping Canadians and cutting taxes, he wouldn't have voted against taking off the sales tax for Canadians for the next few. That's why he voted against dental care for seniors. That's why he voted against a school food program. That's why he's voting against a sales tax break for Canadians for the next few months. That's not on, Mr. Speaker.
But it's not just the federal Liberals jumping ship. Provincial leaders are piling on too. Bonnie Crombie, the Ontario Liberal leader, publicly blasted Trudeau's carbon tax. She didn't mince words, calling it bad for the economy and demanding a total rethink. When your own team starts scoring own goals, you know you're in trouble. And let's not forget the Liberal Premier from Newfoundland who took aim at Trudeau's energy cap. He's not pulling punches either, accusing the PM of driving away investments and hurting local economies. These aren't just policy disagreements. This is a full-scale revolt against Trudeau's leadership, and the opposition is smelling blood in the water. One leader summed it up perfectly. How can this Prime Minister Minister cling to power with the help of someone who says he's too weak and too greedy to govern. It's a damning indictment, and it's sticking. As major party figures distance themselves from the sinking ship, the writing on the wall is becoming impossible to ignore. Trudeau's carefully crafted image is unraveling thread by thread, leaving him exposed and vulnerable. The man who once commanded unwavering loyalty now faces open rebellion from within his own ranks. With internal support evaporating and opposition parties circling like sharks, Trudeau finds himself in the fight of his political life. The pressure is mounting, and it's clear that the Prime Minister's grip on power is slipping. As we watch this political drama unfold, one question looms large. How long can Trudeau hold on in the face of this unprecedented challenge to his leadership? While Trudeau scrambles to hold on to power, Canadians are turning their attention elsewhere. Recent polls show a seismic shift that's left Liberal strategists in panic mode. Pierre isn't just making waves, he's unleashing a political tsunami that's reshaping Canada's landscape. As opposition leader, Poilievre has mastered the art of clear, direct messaging that resonates with frustrated voters. While Trudeau fumbles and dodges tough questions, Poilievre hits hard with zingers that stick. Take his recent jab at the carbon tax. Why is the Prime Minister standing against his own Liberal Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador to help Trump do it? It's this kind of pointed criticism that's making Canadians sit up and take notice. Poilievre's attacks on Trudeau's policies are landing with devastating effect. His critique of the government's housing failures struck a chord with urban voters feeling the squeeze of skyrocketing costs. We need money in the pockets of home buyers and home builders, not bureaucracy, Poilievre declared, offering a stark contrast to Trudeau's convoluted solution. The polls don't lie. Poilievre's popularity is soaring as Trudeau's plummets. What's truly shocking is how he's winning over traditionally liberal-leaning demographics. Urban voters, young professionals, and even some longtime Liberal supporters are jumping ship, drawn to Poilievre's no-nonsense approach and promises of practical solutions. As the next election looms on the horizon, political experts are making bold predictions. If current trends continue, we could be looking at a conservative landslide that reshapes Canadian politics for years to come. Poilievre's momentum seems unstoppable, leaving Trudeau and his team scrambling for a lifeline. The writing is on the wall, and it spells disaster for Trudeau. With his support crumbling and Poilievre's star on the rise, the Prime Minister faces the fight of his political life. As the countdown to the election begins, one thing is clear: Canada stands on the brink of major change, and Trudeau's desperate attempts to cling to power may be too little, too late. As the clock ticks down on Trudeau's reign, Canada stands at a crossroads. The once invincible Prime Minister now faces a revolt from within his own party, while Pierre Poilievre's popularity soared. Political analysts predict a seismic shift in Canadian politics, with the next election poised to be a turning point in the nation's history. The writing is on the wall for Trudeau. His desperate attempts to cling to power seem futile, as even longtime supporters abandon ship. The possibility of a vote of non-confidence looms large, threatening to topple his government before the next scheduled election. Meanwhile, Poilievre's clear messaging and effective attacks on Liberal policies have struck a chord with voters across demographics. As frustration mounts over housing, the carbon tax, and other key issues, Canadians appear ready for change. The stage is set for a political showdown that could reshape the country's future for years to come.